Second week of 2023. Can you believe it? That is life. I remember growing up, I think I've mentioned this before. I thought of myself, in the year 2000, I'm going to be 29 years old. Isn't that a weird thing? Because I was born in 1971 and now it's 2023 and I'm 51. Yo. I know it's life and everyone experiences this, but it's still weird. It's surreal. 1 minute you're 29 or 28, and now you're 51. Anyway, enough about me. How are you doing? Hope your second week of 2023 is going okay. Bit of feedback. A bit of feedback from the last show. I'm not going to give feedback every single episode because then I don't want to be predictable. You've got to be unpredictable. But I thought I got heavy criticism. But I think it's good to embrace the criticism. It's important. You know, you got to accept criticism. You got to try and improve. And I learned something. So Gerald sent me a message. He thought that the last episode he said, quite frankly, very boring. He said, quite frankly, Damon, self-indulgent. He said, not everyone's interested in Steven Spielberg and your stupid movie, the Fablemans. And here's the irony. I said that Steven Spielberg was self-indulgent with his movie, The Fablemans. Now, touche, hey? So, I thought about it. At first, I was taken aback. But then, you know what? Gerald, 100% correct. I was self-indulgent. And you got to be careful. You don't want to. I don't want to. This is not a movie review show. I'm not Barry Wronger. And I got to accept that not everyone's interested in movies. So I've cancelled the next feature. The next feature, I was going to talk about Avatar. And then I was going to talk about Knives Out, Glass Onion. So I won't. All I can say is Avatar, unbearable. Couldn't watch it. I don't understand why it's so popular. So enough about that. I won't be too self-indulgent. Glass Onion, I enjoyed it. Good, entertaining dialogue, I enjoyed it. And then I didn't know there was a first movie, Knives Out, and Glass Onion was the sequel. Knives Out, also, enjoyable, entertaining movies. Glass Onion and Knives Out. I'm not going to go into detail because I don't want to be, self-indulgent, but just very briefly. The movies, those two movies mentioned, I think were a bit flawed because the clues that were like given out or given away were impossible to pick up by the viewer, by me, just impossible. The clues were in quick dialogue where the guy mumbles something. Anyway, still worth watching. Give it a go. Anyway, so I mentioned, so thank you very much, Gerald. You know what I appreciate? I appreciate Gerald. Because I've got one or two friends and they're very nervous. They don't want to tell me. They don't want to be honest. They're like all diplomatic and they're walking on eggshells. Please be honest. If you don't like this podcast, please tell me. I love Gerald's honesty. And you might be thinking the name Gerald might ring a bell. I wasn't sure whether I must bring back this feature. I don't know if you remember. Bringing back, we were monitoring, it's the same Gerald that has the diabetes. And we were following Gerald's road to health and road to well-being and see how he's coping with his diabetes. So I got a little bit of update now. This feature it's not just about Gerald as such. Yes, it's about Gerald. But it's also about you. Gerald is merely symbolic of you. Gerald's got diabetes. You may have diabetes. Family member may have diabetes. You may be pre-diabetic. You might be on the brink. You might be in danger of getting diabetes. You might have a friend who's got, it's a very common ailment. So I get a bit of an update from Gerald. I say, Gerald, how's the diabetes? I was shocked. You know what? I mean, I can understand. Oh, I've been eating a bit badly. I had a bit of sugar with my tea. I've had a bit of chocolates. That's being a bit careless with your diabetic management. No, Gerald's just threw everything. Gerald even stopped taking his medication. So much so that he went to the casualty of the hospital and they had to keep him overnight to put him on an insulin drip. That's how bad it got. Hey? And it's interesting. Look, Gerald could be you. I don't know what it is. I don't know. When I found out of my type 2 diabetes, I kind of was a bit excited. He has some pills to take and can make me feel better. But not everyone's like that. Not everyone's like me and perhaps you. Gerald and perhaps a lot of other people, it's difficult to grasp and to handle. This whole idea of not being well and not being 100% normal. Not everyone can cope with it. And it was just too much. And Gerald was saying it's just too much for him. General stress, family issues at work, financial pressures, relationship issues. And he just didn't take his medication. So hopefully Gerald's going back on his medication and we'll monitor the situation. How is your health? That is the main crux of this particular health session. And I wrote on Facebook about my little health scare I had. So maybe I don't want to bore you too much. But colonoscopy, very important. I've been told over the years you should have a colonoscopy, very important. But not necessarily. Okay, so you got your colon, right? And you could have polyps in your colon, which is your large intestine, and those can develop into tumors. Then you get colon cancer, it spreads to the liver, and you don't buy any ripe avocados, basically. That's what I'm telling you. So I noticed, I went to go donate blood, and they looked at my iron levels. They said, no, you can't donate blood. And I noticed the previous times that I had tried to donate blood, my iron levels were going down and down and down. So what's that? I thought, this is strange. Why am I losing iron? So iron attaches to your red blood cells in your blood, red blood cells. So if you're low in iron, that means you're low in red blood cells. That means I'm losing blood. Where am I losing blood? Through the tochus, through the backside. Spoke to my doctor. Checked, did a stool sample. I've got to be honest with you. I was told a year before to get a stool sample, but I was too embarrassed. The whole idea of taking the poo, let's call it poo. Stool is very misleading. Sounds all clean and nice, stool. Stool is a euphemism, let me tell you. It's poo, stinky poo. So I was too embarrassed. I mean, can you believe it? I was stupid, I was embarrassed. So I didn't do it. Could have cost me my life. A year later, eventually, I pluck up the courage because now, this is it. We've got to find out what's going on. Cut a long story short, they found blood in my poo, in my stool. I thought, that's tickets. I thought to myself, are my affairs in order? Then I realized I don't really have affairs. I mean, what are you going to inherit my debt? Can you inherit debt? Not sure. So I had a colonoscopy. 5 polyps in my colon. 5 polyps. What is a polyp, you may ask? Simplistically just put it into layman's terms. It's like a growth of the submucosa, like a abnormal growth of the mucosa. So what is mucosa? It's difficult to explain what mucosa is. But it's like the tissue inside your nose, the tissue inside your mouth, vagina, anus, intestines. It's difficult I can't explain. Google it. So I dodged the bullet. The doctor took out 5 polyps. Took him an hour and 10 minutes, he said to me. He said to me the one polyp, he wasn't sure if you could take it out or not. It was so big. He nearly named it. And I thought, well, what do you mean you were thinking of not taking it out? He said to me, if he didn't take it out, through the colonoscopy, okay, what is a colonoscopy? So they stick a special flexible tube up your backside with a specialized camera, and they check you out. The large intestine, the colon. So he managed to take it out via the scope. But if he didn't, would have meant major surgery. They would have cut me open, major surgery, like opening me up like a spatchcock chicken. And they would have taken that polyp out. So I live to tell another day. Is that live to fight another day? I hope I haven't bored you to death. Anyway, colonoscopy, very important. My one friend Wayne, let's call him Wayne for argument's sakes. He's got very strange bowel habits. And when I first went to the gastroenterologist, he spent 45 minutes asking me a whole lot of questions. And one of the questions was your bowel habits. Do you do a bowel movement in the morning, in the afternoon? Do you do a bowel movement and then another one an hour later? That kind of thing. So my friend Wayne, when we go cycling, before we leave, he has a bowel movement. Then 45 minutes later, when we get to the cradle, that's in Mildersdrift, to go riding, he has to go and do another bowel movement. That's not normal. I said to Wayne, you've got to get a colonoscopy. He didn't look happy. He didn't look keen. So then I said to him, okay, at least get the stool sample. Doesn't seem keen. This is not about Wayne. This is probably a lot of people think like Wayne. Just won't accept that he needs to get things investigated. Don't know. What must I do? Must I go to his funeral and say, told you so? Sure. I've got to talk to him again. Maybe instead we'll follow Gerald and we'll maybe also follow Wayne. Perhaps. Okay, so what else did I want to talk about? So obviously there's no shortage of things to talk about. Have you noticed? Well, I mentioned this before. There's just so much news happening. I can't cover everything. If you understand what just happened in the House, so to speak, the House in America, McCarthy eventually became the Speaker of the House. They voted. Eventually, he became. Let's not even go into that. What intrigues me and maybe is more relevant, I don't know, maybe it's relevant and also irrelevant. The royal family, the British royal family. So what is it? So Prince Harry had apparently, according to his book or his interviews, he had a fight with his brother William. William pushed him onto the ground and he bruised himself. Apparently, since Princess Diana, their mother, died in 1997, Prince William and Harry have lived separate lives. Then it's all about Harry's wife Meghan and William's wife, whose name escapes me briefly. What is it? I should have written it down. They don't get on. Prince Charles wasn't taking Harry's calls at one time. Harry says he wants his father back and he wants his brother back. When the Queen Mother died, they didn't even let Harry come and visit, and they didn't give Harry a chance to say goodbye to her. All these things is what other family has not had these same things happen to them? These family issues. Everyone's got these family issues. The royal family are no different. Just because they're the royal family. So my one brother from Vancouver, him and his wife are coming to visit. But he's coming first and his wife is coming 2 or 3 days later because of issues with, anyway, something to do with their work and leave and what. My brother is not staying with me. First of all, I didn't even know he was coming. I had to hear it through other avenues. I'm not on that family WhatsApp group because I left that WhatsApp group. How's it different to the royal family? Huh? So my brother doesn't even tell. He's not staying here. He's staying with his wife's cousins in Linksfield. I think, I don't know, our family is probably more interesting than the royal family. Your family is probably more interesting than the royal family. What I'm trying to say is, like, who cares about the royal family? Are they that damn interesting? I don't think they're interesting. Apparently Harry begged his father, Prince Charles, not to marry Camilla Parker Bowles. Begged him, please don't marry that woman. So, how I didn't go to my sister's engagement party. How's it different? It's not different. You know, my other brother's wife, when it was her wedding, she wasn't talking to my other sister-in-law. They didn't talk for years. Huh? How's that different? We all have these things. What I'm trying to say, and you might not like this. Don't get all invested and zerhitzt with this British royal family. Your family, if you think about it, is probably more interesting and, quite frankly, more relevant. Turns out Harry, when he was at the fighter pilot, helicopter pilot in Afghanistan, turns out he killed some Taliban. Who hasn't killed Taliban? If you're a soldier, British soldier, American soldier, and you went to Afghanistan, chances are you killed some Taliban. You know, everyone knows, Harry went to Afghanistan. What did he go there to guard poppy fields? Did he go there to collect rocks? No. He was a soldier. We've all got a story in us. We've all got a book in us. We've all got a movie in us. There are no such things. There's no such thing. Getting to hits, yeah. There's no such thing as a boring story. Only boring storytellers. Think about that. Okay, I stole that. That's a line from a famous, well-known radio consultant by the name of Valerie Geller. Sorry, I don't like to steal things. Thank you, Valerie. Well, there you go. It's good to be back. Should I talk about anything else? Oh, just one more little taste of family drama. So my one sister is not talking to my wife, and I'm not going to go into the details. They've actually, funnily enough, they subsequently patched it up. So that lasted 1.5 days. So you know what I did yesterday? So we normally have a tea where I pick up my mother and my other sister and we have a tea. And it's normally at my house and the other sisters are. So what did I do? I hijacked my mother. Normally we only do this at 1:30. I arrive at 11 o'clock in the morning. I fetch my mother at 11 o'clock in the morning. So then the other party the other adversaries, part of the family, they couldn't get that. It's too early for them on a Sunday morning. They can't get up. So I hijacked my mother, took her here, and I'm driving with my mother, and we're about to, and my mother says, oh, this is my mother. Damon, I don't think, you're going to get very, what did she say? You're going to get very irritated with me being so long. I said, no, we'll watch Seinfeld. So what do? Put the Seinfeld on Netflix. I choose the last season of Seinfeld. Put it on full blast. We sit there. We watch Seinfeld for two and a half hours. What a pleasure. Now this is interesting. These particular episodes of Seinfeld, my mother hadn't seen. Now this last season was 1997. My mother hadn't seen this last season. She starts telling me, they've aged very well. She's also deaf, so I didn't have the strength to explain it. She thought these were new episodes that got recorded recently, 2023, 2022. She was amazed how they had aged so well. Who's got the strength to explain? I couldn't get into that. As you might have experienced this. You ever have like a deaf friend or a deaf family member, and you have to shout all the time? It's so difficult. So for me to explain no more, this is the last season from 1997. They have aged. This was not recorded recently. But you had to laugh. You had to laugh. Anyway, so they've patched things up. I don't know, the royal one of the things that, so maybe the royal family will patch things up like we have. So I was planning to hijack my mother every Sunday at 11 o'clock. But my plan has been thwarted because now turns out there's no Faribble anymore. So how about that? I know, maybe am I evil? Am I childish? Am I petty? I don't know.